the hardest working podcast in Portland, Oregon, man.
Play no
Game. What's up, you guys? It's 2023, and it's Cartier Bob back again to freshly start the year. And you know what? Welcome to the Play No Games podcast.
Slash show.
I'm your co-host, Cos.
Arthur.
And I am guest appearing as Jamal. Well, that's my name, Jamal, not as, but you know what I mean.
A little bit of both.
Oh, man.
Can we get claps when they say my name, please? Well,
Jamal.
I guess when I say my name.
So, if you like what we're doing, you can like, comment, subscribe, hit the notification bell. That stuff really actually helps. I know 70% of the people who are watching this right now are not subscribed. You know why? Because I look at the numbers and it exhausts me. Obviously, this show is meant to put you all on a higher vibration, higher frequency for self-improvement, for your relationships, and overall wanting to be a better human. So we're going to go to a hometown favorite, something that really gets the show going.
Whoa.
Our first segment.
It's called Play No Games. It could be positive, negative, informative. It could just be about your day. But all you got to do is say, I'm ready to play no games. And our first one, I think we're going to go with Robert.
So, this is my second to third take doing this, but I don't want to play no games about apologizing to friends.
Amen.
Do it correctly this time.
I would like... I feel so angry right now. I would like to apologize to this guy right next to me. Hopefully, there's a nice close-up. So, I have wronged you, Jamal, and on tape, I would like to apologize. Even though I apologized before, I want to make a public apology because you mean a lot to me.
Thank you.
And so it's on the record. In my nearest future, you will most likely, I'm 95% sure you will be a groomsman in my wedding.
Wow, thank you. I appreciate that.
What an honor.
Wow.
What
I
an
would like
honor.
it noted that this is your first apology. But it's okay. I mean, you live and learn, right?
It
So-
takes a big man to be a big man.
You want to know why I know this is not my very first time apologizing for this? It's because
Because you regretted doing it before?
that too. Because I remember 3 separate occasions when we went on a walk. One when I was in zero dark mode, 30, and I was ready to blow some shit up. Allegedly. Oh my gosh, wait a second. Time out. I'll keep that. Allegedly.
Figuratively speaking, yeah.
Thank you. Thank you. Save you.
Yeah.
You talked some sense into me. And then I remember another time when you were still doing Mackie sauce.
Mackey's World. Don't disrespect.
Come on, man.
Drink. You said you made a drink called Mackie sauce.
Oh, yeah. I do remember that.
Y'all see how bad his memory is? Yeah, you exposed yourself.
Yeah.
You exposed yourself. You just wanted some sympathy, but I'll give it to you. So
I
Also-
do remember Mackey sauce.
yeah, we were watching the game, and I was like, man, that always haunts me.
I want some Mackey sauce. That sounds kinda
Wait,
weird,
what's
bro.
Maggie sauce?
It's
I don't-
in it.
It's one of his crazy concoctions. He's like,
Yeah.
I'm a bartender.
It was a drink concoction, yeah. It was like Mackey's. It was like a margarita, but
Okay.
Mackey's version. It was good.
Okay.
I can't give out the ingredients.
That makes sense.
I saw the thumbs down, but
but
it's all good.
I just want to play no games about that. And I had something else I'm going to bring up, but I'll save it for later. I want to pass it to.
I'll go.
Go ahead, that's fine.
Yeah, we playing no games about.
I really don't
We playing no games about goal setting. I know everyone has their, it's a new year, new me.
The resolutions.
I think for me, it's more just being intentional and being consistent. So for me, I got a couple goals that I'm trying to reach. So definitely reading more is on my plate. I want to read at least 30 minutes out the day. I know it sounds very small, but for me, that's a huge step in the right direction because
Yes,
you go from not reading at all. And I don't include social media as reading, to trying to read, actual books. So, day 3 or 4 of my reading journey has been great. also trying to have more financial flexibility and stability because I want to buy a house this year. That's another goal of mine. So I need to stop buying shoes, clothes, etc. Well, not really stop, but just kind of cut down on it.
Of course.
So yeah, that's what I highlight a couple of those goals because I guarantee that I am going to accomplish them. That's what I want to do. So, yeah.
I find it very interesting that you haven't mentioned showing up to the show more as a goal.
Well, I think that kind of speaks for itself, you know. Casa and I should be talking about a different show that we should be working on.
Look at that.
You know, who knows? 2023 might be some big things. Who knows?
Yes.
Mackey's World might be coming back again. Who knows? You know, but as of right now, yeah, I'm just setting some big goals at them.
And degenerate.
Hey,
Degenerate.
I like that. I set my goal last year actually to read more. Did I? I read half a book and listened to like 2 books.
there you go.
What do you want to call that, a dub or not?
That's a dub.
I'll say it's a draw. I'll give it that.
That's fair.
What you playing no games about, Cost?
Yeah, I'm actually going to bring the mood down a little bit. Play no games about role models. And someone I looked up to a lot growing up passed away this past weekend.
Yeah.
Mentioned this to Jamal earlier too. Ken Block passed away in a snowmobile accident. Ken Block, for people listening don't know, super legendary drift race car rally driver.
That's what it was.
Super legendary. If you haven't seen it, go to YouTube. Please type in Ken Block, Jaymac, I think they're called. He's also the owner of Hoonigan. Huge blog, magazine, YouTube channel, important to the car community. But like his videos are so badass. He was sponsored by Ford. Most recently, he was an Audi guy.
Sponsored by Monster,
All that stuff. Super legendary for the car scene, for the drift scene, and just kind of out of the blue, you know, at 55, he passed away in a snowmobile accident. So just, you know, thoughts with his family. Absolute legend of the sport, and I don't know. I guess it's one of those things you gotta appreciate someone before they're gone. So that one hit me really hard. I'll be honest. Just really out of the blue, out of nowhere.
Yeah.
my condolences, man. That's sad, man.
Yeah, losing a role model.
Absolutely. And I hate to stay on a sad note, but thoughts and prayers to I forgot his name already. Dang, I feel bad. The Bills player, Damar Hamlin. And you know, speedy recovery. I know he's still in critical condition, and so just like for me, it's putting like a preference on football and then just the mentality from switching from playing football all my life to flipping over to rugby and just understanding the difference and mentality. I was talking to somebody about it the other day. I felt like nowadays football's getting back to pay to hurt people mentality. I was watching 49ers game, and they just were the way they were just sacking the quarterback and slamming him and just trying to like really physically hurt people in this game. I think we're back to that point of paying to hurt players. And you know, I don't know this incident, you know, a freak accident, but that sport is very brutal in very aspect ways. You're fully padded, and I was talking to somebody about it, comparing the difference. You're fully padded, and you hit somebody as hard as you can, as fast as you can. You're not going to feel it because you're padded, but internally you're going to feel it, like, and you might not recognize that feeling too. So being able to just understand that aspect too. I love the game as a whole. You know, I'm a football family. My family all played football growing up. My dad, my brothers, my sister, my mom. But it for me, it hurts. Like that one hurts. You know, especially if he would have passed away on the field, it really would have like pushed me far away from football. So, you know, my condolences. Pray for the family, speedy recovery, and you know, hope everything goes well. So,
I chime in really quick?
Sure, go for it.
I'm not trying to make this a sports cast, but I think it's interesting what you said as far as they're getting back to like hurting players when I feel like the NFL is doing their best they can to think about player safety. So,
but I think it's certain players.
Quarterback for sure.
When it comes to not even all quarterbacks, because the way that way Tua's been getting hit, and I was reminded, I was like, this reminds me of Cam Newton. When Cam Newton used to get picked, like directly picked on, you could see the after hits, you could see a lot of this other stuff, and they're not protecting him. I felt like Tua is the same way. I felt like Carson Wentz was another quarterback who got hit pretty difficult. But when it comes to your superstars, like your Dak Prescotts and your Tom Brady's and players like that, then it becomes, let's throw the flag. Let's make sure these guys are safe. And there's some players out there that are still getting the extras after the whistle. The Chicago Bears quarterback, Justin Fields. He got crunched on after a play, and they just let it just throw him down, smash his helmet into the ground. Like all these things, there's certain players that get treated way differently. And I think you just have to pay attention to the game, and you'll see it.
And that's this quick last point on this is like I do think that well, first of all, I do agree 100%. Certain players are protected more than others. I think the larger conversation might be that the refs should be like independent rather than being owned by like the NFL to take away the bias out the game. You know, I mean, and conspiracy hat on with like sports betting and all that. You know,
absolutely.
Who knows who's betting on games or not? Yeah, you can get in trouble, but during the Tim Donaghy era, they interviewed like 64 referees and 58 of them, whatever the number was, said that, yeah, I bet on games. Currently, I go to Vegas and bet because you can't bet at all on absolutely anything. And they were all betting on games or whatever or not. So it's very dicey out there, and when these leagues actually own the refs and all that. So,
but do you feel tough. Even with independent refs, you think that might change the aspect of betting?
Betting, no, but like the way the games are reffed, yeah. Because, I mean, there's no interest from them at all. Because, like, Roger Goodell, Adam Silver, they want to see the top markets playing against each other, the top stars playing against each other. And if it's, Detroit Lions with Jared Goff versus, I don't know, let's say Joe Burrow and the Bengals, that Super Bowl is going to be horrible. Who wants to watch that? At the end of the day, it is a business, and they have to make money somehow. So they are going to push the narrative of the superstars in the agenda for the superstars. Let's get them, up front, So, Sportscast.
The only thing I would like to add to that, too, is there's a lot of questions coming out on, like, whether he was, like, vaccinated or not. Some really weird stuff. And conspiracy. No,
Damar Hamlin?
Yeah, Damar Hamlin. Asking if that had some part to do with it. Just really people pulling shit out of their ass.
Where's the correlation?
It's some stuff. It's some honestly disgusting behavior. And just, I don't know. I wanted to make light of that, just how like stupid that is, and that like that's where people's mind goes to when like a tragic event like this happens.
And on top of that, it's like, oh, his GoFundMe page. This seems like a scam potentially. The goal was $2,500. How can you get rich off of $2,500? Like, come on now.
Yeah.
Somebody was like, you have an NFL contract. Why can't you just pay $2,500 and, support these kids? But I don't think people understand the significance of different contracts. And he was a walk-on player. It wasn't like he had a major contract. His contract could be $880,000.
I mean, let's talk about it deeper. All these billionaires and millionaires, they don't spend their money when they make new companies. They have angel investors. They get loans from banks and all this stuff. It's like, you just can't talk to dumb people sometimes at the end of the day. Like,
True.
I'm playing no games about dumb people. Like, just ignore them sometimes. Like, it's ridiculous. But I digress. Sportscast.
Hey, we have the ability to be a sports podcast. And I also want to also bring to the conversation, too, as well, what I don't think, well, it's not a bad thing I'm not talking about it. It's just the response for the people who are on the field. I would say it was quick because I remember there was a soccer player that happened to.
Christian Eriksen happened at the Euros last year.
And that saved his life. And
they actually had to bump out the EKG.
Yeah, EKG machine.
Machine out on the field. Yeah.
So I want to say shout outs to them because, it seems like he's going to make a speedy recovery. And then for people who didn't see the hit, I don't think it was like a malicious hit. I also think it's like, you know, one of those freak accidents where like you get hit just in the right place at the right time, and it hits, and it was like one of those. It wasn't.
Yeah, it was just a shoulder pad to the middle of his chest, right below his sternum, and it's because he tackled him high, which is, you know, sometimes happens in a lot of games.
Yeah, because I seen that guy's face.
Hit, you know, I mean, we're not textbook, but it's a standard hit you see pretty regularly every Sunday.
Like high school football and everything.
Because I seen the guy's face who hit him, like the remorse. He's like, yo, like it wasn't like no get back, none of that. It was just like, dude popped up, like, whoa. And like, I actually want to just, in the era of men coming together, it was just really good to see
afterwards
them being like, even if, because I once again think, how can I say this? These situations happen to the NFL, and the NFL, out of all our major sports, are the least equipped to handle these things. And I'm like, crazy. As always, the NFL handling stuff, because with the NBA, the game would have been shut down immediately. They were like, no one's playing today. I just felt the camaraderie that they were like, this is bigger than football. And so like men really coming together just for that. Even though it's a sports context, I really like seeing that. A lot of the emotions and things like that. And I was like, that's really dope to see, because that's very powerful for young men to see that, yo, we're also this, but we're also this. Like, we have feelings and emotions. I really like that.
Yeah. I guess the last point, like back in the 90s, like 99, like a wrestler fell from the top of the arena, Owen Hart, and he died in the ring, and they finished the rest of the pay-per-view. Like, how heartless can you be? You know? Yeah, he was like, yeah, we're still going to finish this. Yeah. Really good documentary on Vice about it.
Dark Side of the Ring, right?
Yep. Highly recommend checking that out.
Well, the segue, just as much as we have to talk about men uplifting, we have to talk about the slap that was not heard around the world, but we sure heard Will Smith slap. So, I'm actually
power slap.
Man, I'm not gonna lie,
because you know they're starting the power slap league.
Oh
wow!
Don't they already have that in like Russia?
They have it in Russia. Dana.
Hey, Dana White does own that, right?
Yeah, I think next month. I want to get into that too, but they're starting a power slap league, which is like just if Rob and I stood in front of each other, I slap him, he slaps me. Whoever quits is the loser.
I probably couldn't make it. I was like, I gotta punch you.
I'm sorry, I'm not having nobody slap me to begin with.
The thing is, the reality of the power slap league is no one quits. They get knocked out because you're not hitting with your finger. You're hitting like with your palm.
Ugh.
And I'm hitting you like right here. So it's like there's so many knockouts, and it's so stupid. I don't want to get into it, but yeah. Anyways,
so
a lot of jokes about that.
I'm trying to be very careful. Huh?
I said marketing.
I'm trying to be very careful to not make light of this.
Yeah.
But we got, as men, we got to hold men responsible. And let's just say, I thought it was Joe Rogan, but it's Dana White.
Dana.
Come on, man.
I was fucking around.
Wow, racist, bro.
I am.
Dude, come on.
Allegedly.
White bald dudes. You
Bunch
get
of
confused.
walking around, just a bunch of thumbs walking around.
So I actually want to pass it to our resident UFC guy.
Yeah.
So tell everyone what Dana White did.
So New Year's Eve, Dana White decided to slap his wife of like 31 years, Ann White. If you haven't seen the video, to give full context, they're having some argument at some club, I believe, in Cancun. She does hit him first, which a lot of people were defending his actions for that, which as a man, I don't believe in that. But she hits him first. He hits her twice back. Much harder, of course, because he's like on steroids. I'm sorry.
Allegedly.
No, not even allegedly. He is on TRT, and he's talked about it too.
Okay, great. Never mind.
He's on the juice. He's 50-something. He has to be. Anyways, so he hits her back twice, and it becomes news. TMZ picks it up really quick because the post-incident interview with TMZ came out the next day.
Wow.
So I think TMZ had that and went to him first, which I think is not good. I think they gave him way too much respect with what is that called? Rebuttal.
Mm-hmm.
But as a fan of the sport, it's disgusting. It's disgusting to see. And what's really, really disgusting is the silence. No comment from the UFC. We know where the UFC stands on domestic violence. They signed Greg Hardy in 2019. Had him fight on 2019 and then put him on the same card with Rachel Ostovich, who was abused by a man. So you're going to put an abuser on the same fight card as another fighter, a female fighter, who was abused. Nonetheless, no comment from Endeavor, who's the owner of the UFC. No comment from Endeavor. Their shares plummeted 6% yesterday. They're back up 5% today. No comment from ESPN, who's the broadcast partner.
Stephen A. did comment, but he
walked the line though.
He was caping for sure.
He was walking
Stephen
the line.
A. He's really good about protecting his friends. He's like, Dana White, that is my friend. I know him. He's a great guy. So he caped for him. Also caped for Jerry Jones when the photo of him came out in Little Rock. Yeah. But go ahead. Yeah, Stephen A. definitely caped for sure, and I lost a little respect for him for that.
Yeah.
I love Stephen A. though, but
he bashes a lot, of players. When he bashes a lot of other people. That's especially when they look like him.
Yeah.
Yes, massa.
It's so crazy because I was watching a documentary about that too. Him, Shaq. There's a few other people that were on ESPN that are the same way.
Kyrie. When Kyrie's story came out, they bashed Kyrie.
Yeah.
But Dana White puts his hands on a woman. I don't care if a woman hits you first. As a man, you should not put your hands on a woman. Simple as that.
You can grab her, hold her, squeeze her. Anything else, don't ever.
Is she wrong for hitting him? Of course. Yeah, nobody should be getting hit to begin with, but I just can't respect a man putting their hands on a woman. Simple as that. I just can't respect that.
Nope.
Sorry.
No, exactly. No. Thank you. But and really the shame of it is, so Dana's not a commissioner. If this was Adam Silver, if this was Roger Goodell, his ass is out. Okay. I think to a certain extent we can agree that there would be at least severe consequences. Mm-hmm. Dana's a president and a 10% owner of the UFC. Unless there is a huge repercussion, and I'm talking about like Endeavor losing more, because they've already bounced back from their stock share dropping the other day. There has to be some huge repercussion, I believe, for Dana to actually have some punishment for this, unfortunately. And, you know, it kind of comes down to the fact also MMA it's not like the NBA. It's not like the NFL. It's something people watch on Saturday with pizzas and beers with their friends, and they bet on it and all this stuff. You know, people, it's a lot. It's tailored very much to the casual. So I think all those parties, ESPN, Endeavor, UFC, all these groups, I think are just gonna wait for this to
blow over,
mm-hmm. Sweep it under the rug, whatever. We saw NBA's reaction with Kyrie. If this happened in the NBA, it'd be a different story.
I mean, look at even Gervonta Davis. He got in trouble for hitting his girlfriend. Nothing happened.
Ray Rice.
And he's still fighting next month or this month?
He's supposed to be fighting later this month.
Nothing happened. You heard nothing about that.
Yeah.
And I watch First Take every single day. I watch Fox to get like a balance of what are they talking about. Mm-hmm. And I heard absolutely nothing about Dana White on Fox.
Yep.
I heard nothing about Gervonta Davis.
Yeah.
Tank Davis, for those who don't know. It just wild how like when these male dominated sports and these male dominated I guess sports industries and sports talk shows don't really speak on that. It's really disrespectful. I don't like it. It doesn't sit well with me. Yeah. And they have like the woman like the Molly Karams of the world just kind of like sit back and like kind of like don't say anything, just like kind of just be quiet. Don't really like say like share your thoughts on the situation.
Yeah.
Now Skip said, "Hey, not Skip. Sorry, Robert, my fault."
Skip's in hot water too, but
that's yeah. I mean, yeah, bro. I mean, Stephen A. did say, "Hey, Molly, I want you to share your thoughts on this," but
yeah,
she also caped for Dana White too. She was like, "I know his family's so sweet, they're so nice in this," but it's like,
yeah,
I don't know. It's just wrong. I don't like it.
I think one thing, because I definitely want to make sure we stay on this topic because I feel like it's very important as men just to talk about it. But one point that AJ brought up that I think that is not talked about enough is because men, I feel like, kind of talk about, we'll just say it like this, and I think my research may be wrong, but from this documentary I did watch, and please everyone fact check me, Fact Dragon, do your thing. Is I think there's only one active like male DV DV like services like actual man can go into in our entire country. And the point that AJ was bringing up, and I feel like a lot of guys get in this borderline where like you've already left, you've already done the things, and like the last thing you could do to protect your face or do anything like that is to restrain a woman. And I feel like that's not like, that has to be like the last of the last resorts, because leaving is the best option.
Yeah.
Not even engaging in that conversation is the best option. And I feel like that even if there's a situation, as all of you have brought up, where I'm like, all right, I'm doing the things, hitting a woman, not just based on strength or chivalry, it's just kind of like, that's not you. And I remember a time when I was so frustrated. No, did I hit a woman? No. But like, I remember I slammed the drawer and I was like, yo, like this is like crazy. And like for a person to be like, that's scary. And I was like, you're all right, that's scary. Even though antagonized, followed, this, that, tried to leave. There's no win-win. And I feel like as men, I feel like there's a lot of men that have those stories where like, I'm doing the things, but nobody's hearing me. Mm-hmm. And in even those positions and places, you got to have the wherewithal and strength to be like, you know what? I'm not going to get pummeled on. I'm not going to do this. I just need to find a way out. Whether that is me closing the bathroom door and me sitting here for 2 hours, that's good enough. Even though leaving the premises is probably the best thing. So I think I'm glad that you kind of brought that up, because I feel like, yes, we always tell dudes, you got to leave. You can't do this. But there's a lot of situations where that's not talked about because domestic violence for men is not spoken up about a lot, that there's that gray area of like, I'm not doing nothing. She's pursuing me. And I feel like just really find whatever piece, hide in the closet, like not that shit.
And you kind of bring up a good point, because I don't know if a lot of people are making comedy of it, but like the Blueface situation and his girl.
That's not funny to me. Like,
and you know, people
so
are like
toxic.
making jokes about how he gets beat up by her and all this other stuff, and it's like popular news, but people don't understand the impact, because you can see his fear with her when they have you can see his fear in their conversations, and when he says something, or he might slip up and say something out of pocket, and she's like, what'd you say? And you can just see him, like, as a young man, it's almost like demoralizing to an extent, but it's like, it's also like, how far do we go? You know what I'm saying? How far can we go before we have to remove ourselves? But now you're getting followed. Now you're getting a brick thrown through your window. Now you're getting this and that. Now you're dealing with the damages of what it is. And
y'all bring up great points. I mean, you look at Johnny Depp, and people just made jokes about him, you know, all day. And it's like, to your point, like, where can men actually go? Like, can they go to their friends? I mean, I would hope your friends don't laugh at you if you know, are coming to them in that vulnerable moment. But you know, it's just sad overall. It's horrible.
Yeah, and I appreciate you guys going with me there, because both conversations need to be talked about extensively. I know ledgers of podcasts could be like done about it. Exactly, but I just feel like that doesn't get talked about, or like because men aren't just heard, and I get it. There's certain men who take advantage of situations and things like that. But just getting back on what Cost and everyone was talking about, was just like, I find it still very ironic and interesting that we heard about the Will Smith slap for fucking months. Months and months and months. We hear about it right now. He can't get a movie. His emancipation movie ain't popping. But this,
they said that was gonna happen.
Huh?
They said that was gonna happen.
Oh no, but I'm saying I just find it interesting that, even though not trying to equate that, you know, he slapped a dude, you know, not saying, because, you know, what he did still, you know, was fucked up to Chris Rock. I still say that you handled that behind closed doors. Like, you can't be talking to my wife like that.
Yeah.
But I just find that interesting that it's not as publicized, which is very, very, very interesting.
Yeah, and I think the reason it's not publicized, a big part has to do with like ESPN having a big deal with the UFC. ESPN making sure they don't talk about it. I'll give you an example. The MMA journalists that the ESPN hired, the Brett Okamotos of the world. Hate to speak bad about Brett Okamoto, but they're all lapdogs to Dana. They don't ask him hard questions. They're all softball questions. They're all just like, oh, what's the plan for this event? Oh, what are you guys doing in Brazil? All this stuff. Meanwhile, the journalists that have been the guys who like asked, like, hey, why aren't fighters being paid more? Hey, why is this guy, John Jones has this case against a pregnant woman he beat up. Why is he still on the roster? What is these guys? Those journalists have been blackballed from the UFC. The Ariel Helwanis, the Luke Thomases of the world. They're not allowed. They don't get press passes anymore. They have their own platforms, which people do. Luckily, they have a big following. I'm a huge like Ariel Helwani guy, where you have to go and you have to seek him out now. The UFC and ESPN won't. Dana didn't. When Ariel got hired by the ESPN, Dana wanted him fired because he didn't like him. So then Ariel had to jump through hoops just to work at ESPN until eventually he left on his own will because he's like, fuck this.
Wow, that's
the power of media.
The power of media, the power of being the man in charge. There's one last thing I want to just finish with. The whole Dana White thing, too. The last couple years, a lot of not great stuff been coming out about Dana. Okay, it's all been fighter pay, employee treatment, the journalist stuff, all this stuff. This is really just another one to put up there on that shelf. And I think if you are a fan of the sport, he's just a necessary evil now. Because I'll tell you now, I'd be very shocked if anything comes of this.
So, I think maybe it's Jake Paul. When Jake Paul challenged Dana White.
Pauls.
Yeah. Jake.
Do you feel like this is now something that really needs to happen in the sense of like someone need to beat him up?
Sure, why not? Yeah. To be honest, everything Jake said about Dana's spot on. Jake did his research and he was spot on about everything. He did a whole diss track. It's a terrible diss track, but the points he made, he did bring up some really good points, specifically about like playing favorites and fighter pay and all this stuff. But like in that situation, now Jake's got a lot of ammo, honestly, if you're looking at it that way too.
Yeah, no, because as the Dana White situation keeps, that's who I think of the most, bringing a lot of that stuff out. So
yeah.
One thing I do want to bring up is we always talk about what millionaires should be doing. We always talk about what we should be doing. Where it's kind of like when I'm in my role and I'm at my job and what I do.
What do you do?
Tell the world what you do, Robert.
I'm a
Cartier salesman.
I sell Cartier bracelets. You know, yeah.
Are you Tommy from Martin?
Under domestic abuse?
Yeah.
I couldn't find an exact number, but 8% of men who call the domestic abuse line actually find it helpful, and 16% say that they were made fun of or just dismissed on the call.
Damn.
But I can't find like an exact number of like shelters that are open to men or men exclusive. It's like I can't find.
RJ, is he being picked up? Do you think that being picked up with?
No, the sirens are. I'm not kidding.
Interesting.
So
say that again. So 8%
Of men find it helpful when they call the DV line. 16% were talked about or dismissed, and made fun of. And there's not an exact number of I guess centers or shelters that men can go to.
DV cells.
Yeah.
And maybe because I'm just in social work and things like that, they turn men away that been battered from like the women's shelters. So the reason why I bring this up, and I don't need Andrew for you to pull this up, there's thousands of shelters for women to go to. Not saying it's a bad thing, but he couldn't find one. Ain't that telling? And the reason why I kind of want to bring this up, or not just that, but thank you for that, but just bring up the piece of like, when is it on the viewer where like, I'll just say this. I love Katie. Katie's my dude. But like, if he did
what?
But if he did something to this magnitude, I would really have to question, like, man, I've already bought into him. You know, I got his jerseys. Obviously, I'm not going to go burn the jersey. But like, my support has to look different.
Can we go a step further? Actually,
Go further.
rather than like a celebrity, what about one of your friends? Like, what if one of your friends put their hands on your girl and you saw it? Are you checking your friend, or like what are you doing in this situation?
Absolutely.
You have to.
I've beaten up friends for doing that. I have. I tell people that all the time. I tell kids that. I tell adults that. Like
Kids at 18.
Young kids, everything. I highly hate it when men, young boys put their hands on women. Regardless, it doesn't matter what she might have said to you. Don't matter the situation. I'm checking them.
I mean, like, if you think about statistics, probably, I'm sure that somebody we know, like one of our close friends, have probably done it before, So
Yeah.
I definitely respect you for speaking up and doing something about it, because
I'll even reference a time. So I as some of y'all know, I do night security sometimes, and I'm at a bar, and this situation breaks out between two ladies fighting. The man, one of the guys' girlfriend, who was in the process of fighting, grabs his girl, takes her to the other side of the bar, and he's like grabbing her and like grabbing her by her collar, yanking on her, and I walk over there. I forget completely about the fight, and I'm like, "Look, bro," and he's like trying to explain to me like I'm trying to stop her from fighting. I said, "No, I understand, but don't put your hands on a woman like that." He's like, "I didn't put my hands on her." I said, "Do not put your hands on a woman like that. I don't care if that's your wife, your daughter, your sister, your mother." I said, "If I'm here, don't ever put your hands on a woman like that." And I was like, and if I have to say it again, it's gonna be a problem. I was like, I don't care who she is to you. I don't care, but don't do that. And he kind of got upset, but he shook my hand, and we kind of went our separate ways. But I was like, for me, like, if that's my mom, if that's my sister, like if those are my relatives, I always think about that. Like, and I think as a man, like we have to stop that. Like, I think there's a point where it's like, yeah, you might feel tough and beat your partner up, but it's just like, that's just going too far. Like it's going way too far. So
To answer your question, I would definitely. My thing is, I don't do like the bystander effect where I'm gonna watch something happen, but I do want to observe before I intervene. Where like AJ has more skills when it comes to like observing high pressure situations, but like for me, we're like, if I'm seeing like a person, let's just say if she was like being like drug on like the ground, things like that, I'm gonna be like, bruh, like, that can't be happening here. But I also take it to this to answer your question. No, I think I akin it to if I'm kicking it with, and I've used AJ's for this example last time, I'll use Koss. If I'm kicking it with Koss, and I know Koss is cheating on his girl, and I know this, I don't think I can really kick it with Koss like that, because if you're willing to do that to her,
Yeah.
what are you saying about me? What are you thinking about me? Because you're doing that to someone who you say that's close. So I would say, and I've had this luxury. I walk around because I personally have a high character. Because my thing is, I see the greater good in all people. I know, at least when I'm around people be like, if I was doing that, I ain't gonna do that around Robert, because they know I'm gonna do something about it. Mm-hmm. Not saying I'm gonna put my hands depending upon the situation, but like I'm gonna be like, bro, that's some sucker shit. I'm not with that. And I feel like that is like the air. So to answer your question, I would say for particular friends, I'm gonna step up, because if we have a true friendship, if I'm not my best,
yeah, definitely,
you gotta tell me.
Mm-hmm. Facts.
So with that being said, who knew that our very first show would be this
Powerful.
We have facts, we have humor, we have it all. And I think this episode would be the perfect episode for us to do one of our segments to close out. Do you know?
Does anybody know what he's talking about? 'Cause I don't.
Left on red.
that's why I thought that's what it was. But that's why I looked at you, because
I just know that's the name they didn't want.
So we got two left on red.
Oh, absolutely.
So we're gonna save one for the other one. We'll do this one now. So,
Right.
could y'all? He don't, because we know he really don't be watching because he confused.
I definitely know what Left on Red is. I definitely watch the podcast.
That's
That's
what
what.
question all the time.
That's why I say like turn the volume up on the mics because I'm in my car and I can't hear.
Full blast.
I know, legit, because like I listened to two podcasts, New Royal Mall podcast, and I listened to this podcast. And when the show is over, the volume is normal. It sounds very clear. And then I go to this podcast, it's like, and I can't hear. I'm like,
Hey,
fam, what
RJ,
is
stare him
going
down.
on?
Stare him down.
With all due respect, I can't hear.
Stare him down.
sometimes, so.
Tell him when Rob gets a budget, he gonna get anything he wants. Yeah, mute his mic. Disrespectful. Exactly. I'm working hard so we can get him what he needs. He's actually making magic with chopsticks and a fork.
He's like Tony Stark in the first movie in the cave, building the robot.
yes, he is.
I mean, don't get me wrong. I make it work. This is like racist, isn't it? No.
No, whoa. He's actually a BIPOC. Stop.
It was a joke.
Okay, just let you know.
It's white passing though.
No,
Whoa!
whoa.
Did you say something about your wife?
Whoa.
Oh, she would get so mad she heard that. I
Actually,
told her she's a white Mexican. She does not like that.
she actually watched the show. She'll find
Is she
you.
mixed at all?
No, she's Mexican.
She's fully, yeah.
Is
she
she full, right?
just like 100% full Mexican. She's like,
And you tell her she passes as well.
I said that you're white passing, and she hates it.
First you know, I'm running it hotter, and then you're gonna hear some pops and clicks from his editing system. Then you're like, yeah, I want it quieter. But just so you know, when it comes out, poor quality.
Thank you. Check in the summer while we get this fixed, or sooner
It's not
than that.
poor quality. Make it clear, just lower compared to the other shows.
So, I'll just say this: we have and we'll try to keep it 3-4 minutes with this.
Yeah.
So, we have this Left on Red from Celine Hermes. Y'all,
Shout out Celine.
Hey, Celine.
I be
Hey,
fucking
hey,
up
girl.
names.
Our guy.
So he asked, "How do you get?"
I don't know what they are.
He asked,
Oh, it's a guy.
"Yeah,
Okay.
yeah." He asked, "How do you get over a past relationship?"
Yeah, it's easy. The best way to get over somebody,
Drugs.
well, getting under someone else. No,
Yeah.
no. I'm not qualified to answer this question. So somebody else.
Focus on yourself. I think starting a new hobby or finding passion in a hobby you did before that person sucked up your time.
Okay, top G.
Not at all.
Sucked up their time.
I
That's
think,
wild.
I think in reality, that's what happened. You have all this free time now. I think either getting to a new hobby or get back into a hobby that you liked before really goes a long way because it's bettering yourself. It's focusing on yourself, doing what you like, learning. Only benefits could come from that unless your hobbies were like doing drugs or anything like that. But or like heavy partying. But yeah, I'd say focus on yourself. Find that hobby. You may find someone else doing that hobby too. You know, if there's a little community there and whatnot.
Ooh.
There you go, 2 for 1 right
Saucy.
there. Help you get over. Find something new. Find someone else will get you. Help you get over it too. But there you go. Yeah, I'd say focus on yourself.
All right, True Love, what you got?
Interesting. So I'm very similar to Cost. I think it comes down to refining like who you are before. I think that's an important aspect of like that piece. Coming from experience, when you get into a relationship, sometimes you lose yourself, and I think once that relationship is over, that shuffle of like who I was, like similar to Cost is saying, finding old hobbies or finding new hobbies is I think becomes very important. But it's really about what can I learn, what did I learn, and how can I improve. Not trying to dwell on the negative or the past experiences or the good times and the bad times. Just think about all the things that you learned from your experience and apply that to yourself so that you can find someone new and give them that. So,
Yes.
So, I'm going to try to keep this 120 seconds or less. So, I love what y'all said. And one of the things I want to bring is everyone asks, what is this healing elixir for a relationship. And I will say the great equalizer is always time.
Absolutely.
And I want to couple it with, what are you doing with that time? Koss, AJ, as well as Jamal talked about things you should be doing. Because if you're not working on healing, if you're not working on healing yourself,
Yes.
and you're just filling that time with BS, then it's going to linger and it's going to drag. And obviously, depending upon how traumatic the relationship is going to take that in. But like, everyone's asked or has this thought of like, if I do these things, I'm going to be healed. You're always in a constant state of healing. And once you kind of know that, then you getting to the next spot will be more helpful, because at the end of the day, if you're in a new relationship and you are comparing, or I'll just say this, comparing / judging this new person from the past, you're not healed, because they get a clean slate. So I would say what you're doing at that time is very important.
Amen.
And with that being said, if you are lower listeners, this is a 2-for-1 special. So
Stay put.
stay put. This is the end of part 1 of Play No
The New
Games
Year
Pod.
kickoff.
Yeah, I love it. Yeah. This is
Subscribe to keep up with the next part 2.
yeah. This will be out in.
This is unscripted, definitely, huh?
No, we're keeping this. But it's not how we usually end. But I'm Cartier Bob from. Or fuck it, no. This is. How should we end it? Because we're gonna do a part 2.
So
Stay tuned for part 2. Thank you for watching. Hit that like, subscribe, follow on the Instagram, which is called
lookhere.fri.
And if you'd like to donate to what we're doing, please donate to.
$Hero Bob.
Thanks
Cash
for
App.
watching.
Hear it.
What?
So you can actually hear it.
Okay, money bags. How much you support? Yeah. You
my-
rich.
I ain't got my wallet on me, bro.
Thank you for listening. I've been Koss.
I'm Arthur.
I'm Jamal.
I'm Cartier Bob.
Probably wondering if I think of you. Sorry, I'm for the bag right now. Yeah, I'm for the bag right now. Yeah, for the bag that I never had. Yeah, you probably mad right now. Yeah, I got a 2-piece now. But shit, I think they call them groupies now.